Give me a moment while we connect to Facebook. We'll be getting started in just a second here. Hope you're doing well. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to the Strategic Swing Trader. I am Sami Abusad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend's going great. We're gonna do what we always do, which is look at some swing ideas for next week, take a look at the market, and see what we think is gonna happen the following week. But before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. Also, if you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description below the video. But without further ado, let's turn to the charts and get started. The bullish and bearish watch lists were copied and pasted in the description of the video for your convenience, so you wouldn't have to type them up from scratch. So make sure to copy those from the description below the video. Okay, we're gonna start by taking a look at the market. The Qs and the SPY are pretty much identical, almost identical. So here's the thing: we had that really bearish break last weekend. I said the market looked really bearish, and then the next day it gapped down. That was Monday. Okay, we had a pretty significant gap down that reached, I said the target was going to be 360 on the Qs or so. That's 359.96. We almost got to it in one day. So this was last weekend. That's how the charts looked really bearish. Monday we gapped down, and then we spent the whole rest of the week, okay, moving up pretty much. So right now we have a sell setup. We will have a sell setup if we can break under Thursday's low, which is 370 on the Qs. On the SPY, it will be about 439.60. So if we break under 439.60 on the SPY, if we break under 370 on the Qs, that would be bearish. But it's also, it's a little bit, that move up was a little bit too bullish. Notice the rising 20. Usually, in order to see follow through to the downside on a daily sell setup, a daily sell setup is when you have basically a breakdown and then a counter rally back up to resistance, which we have right here. That is resistance. Okay. So in order to have follow through to the downside, the 20 MA on the hourly chart, that blue line, needs to start flattening out and pointing downward, pointing down. Okay. So right now it's pointing beautifully up. So the market is a little too bullish. It's more likely that we actually go up a little bit more, okay, bounce up a little bit more than it is that we would break down as of right now. Now, if we gap down, is a different story. So barring a gap down under 370, about 370 on the Qs, I don't think any move down would generate any follow through, which means it's anybody's. It could be the bulls, could be the bears. It's anybody's guess. There's no way to know right now which way the market is going to go. But the line in the sand is at 370 for right now. Again, remember what I said. Strong retracement. Even if we break 370, it's not likely to generate follow through right away. So okay, it's more likely that we're going to continue a little bit higher, but then we also have resistance above. So that's why I said right now it's not very clear. We have that line in the sand at 370 that we shouldn't break on the Qs, but even if we do break it, that would be step one. Step two would be to follow through to the downside, because on the initial break, I don't think we will generate follow through to the downside. So it would probably, if we were to break, which is not likely, it's more likely that we would pop tomorrow. But even if we were to break, I don't think we will generate follow through right away. We would probably bounce back up, and if we base under that 20 MA on the hourly chart, the 20 MA starts to go sideways, flat, and then starts to point down, that's when you would expect to see follow through to the downside. So as of right now, it's really it's up in the air, okay, on the market. It's been, I noticed that the market in the past, prior to the pandemic, a year and a half ago, it used to be a lot easier to make money when the market was bearish. These days, it's easier to make money when the market is bullish. So I'm hoping the market goes back up and somehow, you know, goes to the prior highs and eventually breaks out. But I think it'll take a while before if we were to, you know, go up, it would probably take a while to resume that uptrend that we challenged. I don't want to say broke because we didn't really break the pivot. Okay, we never broke that last major pivot, but we challenged the uptrend a little bit. So I think it'll take a while before we resume. Initially, so, and I'm saying this based on what I saw last week. Initially, I thought this would be a longer term top. We will find out probably by this week whether that's true or not. So far, based on the bounce back up, that strong bounce back up, it looks like this break is not going to generate any follow through to the downside. But again, it's all up in the air, and we'll have to just wait a little bit more and see what the market tells us. Okay, our job as traders is to always listen to the message of the market, to listen to what the market is telling us and take action based on what the market is saying, not based on what we hope or don't hope you know, might happen. Okay, all right, bullish watch list. We got the AKTS. Actually, this list was is sorted alphabetically, except for the last few here, which are longer term watches. And the AKTS is another one that I probably should have put in at the bottom there because it is a long-term play. It's a monthly buy setup. So AKTS, I like it because of that monthly chart as a long-term play, core investment kind of. The entry for it should be over this bar's high, which is 1060. Okay, stop under $9. So over about 1060, stop under $9 as a long-term play. Okay, AVDL is a 1 2 3. This is a 1 2 3 pattern. When bar 1 breaks out over a base, bar 2 is a narrow range bar, and then bar 3, if we get it tomorrow, is a breakout bar that continues that initial breakout. Okay, so that's called the 1 2 3 continuation pattern. Long over 950, stop under $9. And in terms of targets, the first pivot is around 1030 or so. That's the first resistance area. Second resistance area is at 13 at 1274. So those would be the two resistance areas, target 1 and then target 2 on the AVDL. AVLR is a daily base breakout. It looks good. It's not a very tight base, which means, you know, if you were to put your stop down here, which is where it should go, it's a pretty big stop, but over the base looks higher. Okay, the CALX doesn't even look good on the daily chart, but take a look at that weekly chart. I mean, tell me this doesn't look good. Wow, it broke out already last week. I didn't get it, but I'm looking to get it if it takes out this bar's high. Okay, as a long-term play also. I'm giving it to 54 bucks, I think. So I don't want to get in tagged by a couple cents. So I'm over 60 and putting the stop way down here initially, and we'll add and reduce later on. It's like the TXN, right? I got the TXN. It's the same exact pattern. It's a monthly base breakout. So take a look at the CALX, monthly, weekly base breakout. So same idea, and I have the TXN in my IRA account because it's a longer term play. CALX, similar. All right, CERS is a daily base breakout. That's not bad. Notice how this base right here broke down but got reversed. I mean, the stock bounced back, gapped, and based at the top here. So all that resistance is now gone. So we just need to break out, and then the next resistance area is the prior pivot high around 840, 830. Okay, on the CERS. So the entry for this would be just above the base. Stop, I would put it down here under $6. So it's over 670. Stop under $6 on the CRS, and target about 830 or so. The CHRS is a weekly 1 2 3. Not bad. So long over this bar's high, 17.90, stop under 16.90, $1 stop, and it really has room all the way back up to the prior high around $22. Now I like the base on the daily to be a little bit tighter. Okay, so it's not a very tight base, but I still like the 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart of CHRS. COUP has a daily buy setup, also kind of a monthly buy setup. Okay, it's a pullback, not the cleanest for sure, but looks decent. That's the weekly chart. So I look at the daily, the weekly, and the monthly when I'm analyzing patterns, and then when I'm looking for the entry, I also make sure the hourly looks good. The hourly looks great in this case. So it's a base, you know, it's a pullback plus a base breakout. Can get in over, the trigger would be over 248.35, or safer would be over 250, 260, but that's a bigger stop. And the stop is the same regardless of the entry. There's just an aggressive entry right here, a less aggressive entry over 250, 260, and the stop would be 236.50, okay, on the COUP. CPLG is a daily base breakout, super bullish stock. I mean, wow, just really bullish. It's way up there for sure, but still looks higher. Okay, so that's a base breakout over the daily highs, long, stop under the SPARS low, which is 445. So where's the entry exactly? Well, you have to look at the highest point. So that's 1551 is the high. That's 1552 and 1553. So notice it looks like it takes out the prior high by a penny and then comes in. Takes it out by a penny and then comes in. So I wouldn't put my entry at 1554. You don't want to get tagged by a cent only to see it come in. So I'd give it a couple cents, like 1556 at least. Give it a couple cents and then stop under 1445. Okay, on the CPLG. DYNT. DYNT is not the best on the daily, but look at the monthly. It's a transition A on the monthly. It's also a nice looking base breakout on the weekly. It's not the greatest I've ever seen, but I like it over 160 long, stop under 140, and then target on this. I mean, target 1 is 250, target 2 really is this prior high, which is around 370. So it has plenty of room to move up, but the chance of, so reward to risk is very high, probability is low. That's the issue with the DYNT. High reward to risk if it works, but low odds of it working, low probabilities. A GOED is a 1, 2, 3 breakout. Long over 357, let's say 360, stop under 315. And target, you got 450 for target 1. Maybe if the market goes berserk, it gets to $6. Okay, but target 1 would be around 450 on the GOED. I have a bunch of these that look a little higher. We have also that are not on the list. ICPT is kind of similar. KPTI similar. It just needs to take out this bar's high, Friday's high, 650. Blue, okay, is a base breakout. I don't put everything that I'm watching on the list because I have like 50 items on my watch list. I just try to share with you the ones that I think are more likely to pop or trigger Monday or Tuesday. The ones that I think need a little bit more time, those I don't really ever share with you because I don't do this video. I only do this video once a week. Those get posted if they're ready in the newsletter, okay, on a daily basis. So you have to be a subscriber to get those on a daily basis, but I try to share with you the ones that are more likely to go on Monday or Tuesday in these weekly videos that I do. By the way, if you're a subscriber, I've already completed the newsletter. You can access it already by logging on to your T3 Live account, or if you'd rather wait until you get the email, it should hit your inbox by about 7:30 tomorrow morning, okay, giving you a couple hours to put in any entries, any orders if you want to participate before the market opens. The HAE looks nice. It's a daily base breakout. So over the base long, stop is, because it's not a tight base, I never use tight stops. If the base is a little bit sloppy, you gotta give it room. Okay, when the base is really tight, it means an explosion is about to happen, right? A breakout or breakdown if it's a bearish base. So that's not a very tight stop. For sure, the stop would have to be under the 67.70. like down here, 67.50, that is 67.50, and the entry is over 71 bucks. Okay, it has plenty of room, like to the prior high here, so that's like $90 almost. So it has a lot of room to go. MCRB is another one of those base breakouts. What I like about it is the breakdown right here failed, and then the stock popped and is basing at the top right here. So it does look higher. Needs to take out 720 with a stop under 660 and the target about $10 on the MCRB. Okay, Netflix, we talked about it a few weeks ago on the 123. It was actually 123 on the weekly chart, and I told you this is my pick from the big names to do really well. That and Tesla, but this has a setup. I mean, this had a setup a few weeks ago. Tesla, it was a couple months ago, which is an open position in the newsletter, by the way. Tesla is, and Netflix is too. Triggered on that 123 over 560 something was the entry over here, over 564. Okay, popped a lot already, but it's only up less than 30 bucks. Okay, so it's not too late to jump in if one wanted to. Looks higher. Now, this is not a swing, it's a longer term play. It doesn't even look that good as a swing. For a swing means just for a few days. Long term means a few weeks, months. Okay, so I like this as to add to the position over 599.32. Let's say $600. Stop all the way down at 568, under 568. So this is just an add and reduce to add more shares and raise the stop. So you're reducing the stop and adding more shares to the Netflix as a long-term play. OKE is a 123. I don't love the daily chart because it's already up a lot and the 20 is a little bit flat, but I like that hourly chart. Notice how it's based. The majority of the last 2 days, okay, with the exception of the first 2 hours on Thursday, it's been basing sideways. So over the base long, stop under short. Okay, looks like over 57.74, stop under 56.80. Okay, it's about $1 stop. TCON, and then it has plenty of room in terms of target. I mean, it has no resistance all the way back up to up here. So, you know, it has plenty of room. 77 bucks basically. The TCON, TCON, is another one of those 1, 2, 3 plays. So long over 445, stop under 411, and target probably around 540, 525, let's just say. So it's a 1, 2, 3. It's very similar to the GOED, very similar to the ICPT, very similar to the KPTI that I showed you. But those two are almost identical. Some longer term plays, the PENN. The casino stocks are not doing well at all. They look lower, but they're really weak. LVS, MLCO, they're very weak. This one I played, but it didn't work. I killed it early instead of taking a stop on it. So I got in it last week, killed it because it got sold. And so I lost a little bit on it, but I didn't let it stop out. The original stop was under the daily lows because it looks lower. So the PENN is a little bit questionable for that reason, but I like that monthly a lot. So the entry for this would be if it took out 77.55. The stop would be under $70. So it's a big stop, but it's a longer term play. It's not, doesn't look ready yet. PLTR triggered last week. Told you about it in last week's video, and it triggered the very next day, which was Monday. This day it triggered long, and now a potential add, just like Netflix, over 29.30, stop under 26.06. Showed you the weekly chart last week in last week's video. The breakout, it happened already. Now we have a 1, 2, 3. So I like it over 29.30 with a stop under 26 bucks. Oh, under here. So as an add and reduce. Trip is a wonderful long-term chart. I mean, look at that monthly on Trip. Really nice deep pullback, but it should bounce a little bit at least. I'm not saying Trip is going to go all the way back up to 65 or wherever it came from. I don't think so. But could it bounce back up to 50? Sure. Okay, to 45. That would be amazing. To 50, that would be a 50% rally basically. So I like it a lot. It's not quite ready based on the daily chart, but I'm going to be watching it next week. And IBKR is another favorite chart of mine on the monthly chart. Look at that. Looks good, but it needs to take out about 65.70 or so. Let's say 66 bucks to trigger that monthly buy setup. So I'm watching these. I don't have orders for them yet. They're not ready. This one I do have an order for, but the other three I don't. I'm watching for them to possibly trigger this week the monthly chart to play long. The shorts, we have just as long of a bearish watch list as we do a bullish list. COUR is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like it short, or 1, 2, 3. Short under $34, stop over $35.60. And target on this, I mean, it can fall and fall and fall. There's only one support area below, which is recent at 32.60 or so. So that would be target 1. But target 2, I mean, you'd have to just manage it. CTVA is a daily sell setup. Remember what we said about the Qs and the SPY? When there's a rising 20 on the hourly chart, it rarely follows through on the initial break. So we have a rising 20. We don't have a 20 that is curled, that's starting to point down like we had on the, remember the Qs and the SPY when I talked about that rounding top? So that's what you need to see. You need the 20 to start flattening out, but when it's rising and you get a break, it doesn't usually follow through. It goes back up. See that? I'm glad I remembered. So that shows you. So I just want to open it up. So if there's a rising 20 and the daily chart is breaking down, if there's a rising 20 on the hourly chart, the initial break usually does not produce any follow through. It goes up. Now it can go up and resume the uptrend, or if it goes sideways and then the 20 MA starts to go flat at the point where the 20 MA starts to point down and hug price. Okay, that's when you see, that's it. See how it started to prevented price, it held price, it captured price, it prevented price from going above it. That's when you short it. That's when you know it's gonna probably produce follow through, and which it did. Look at that from here. Where was it? Here. I mean, it had a huge drop. So the same with the CTVA. Right now the 20 is pointing up, so I'm not ready to short it, but this could trigger on Tuesday or so. Okay, so I'm gonna be watching the CTVA short. It's a daily sell setup. EAR possible 1, 2, 3 short under 630. We played it. EAR was my best trade on Thursday, at least in the morning, because in the afternoon I played the CEI, and that was by far my best trade last week on Thursday. Okay, it made like 10k for me. The EAR was the nicest trade at the open, and now has a 1, 2, 3 short under 633. Stop would be over 760 or so. A couple of gold stocks that look still lower. E.g., you have the AEM is an open play, but this is better, but it's too late. A couple that are not too late, I think, would be the EGO, gold. Do I have one more here? No, I guess just 2. Gold and EGO. I don't love them, but if you are bearish on gold, those are a couple of gold stocks to look at, to consider. FBRX, an open play in the newsletter, short under the base, stop over, don't even need to put the stop over 430, 422, just over 364 I think would be sufficient. So under $3 by 365 on the FBRX. FLUX is a 1, 2, 3. It's like the first one we looked at. Short under this bar's low, stop above the high. I'd give it to 602. See, this bar's high is 596. I would definitely give the, I would put the stop over 602. Okay, just to be safe. But it looks definitely lower and has room to all the way down to basically to 425 or so. So plenty of room on the FLUX. HLF has a sell setup. Like it, because the hourly chart on this looks good. That's what we want. We want that 20 MA on the hourly chart to flatten out and start pointing down. So under the base, stop above it. It's a daily sell setup and an hourly base breakdown. And in terms of target, I mean, wow, it has room all the way to 25 bucks. Don't tell Bill Ackman, he might get back in it short, okay? But it really has a lot of room. HLF. I noticed the NUS, which is, similar concept, similar company. Look at that. Just all out bearish. So it's much more bearish than the HLF, but doesn't have as good of an entry, though it does have a base. It's just extended far below the 20. So I like the HLF a little bit more. INCY, which already triggered for me on Friday. I really hope it follows through tomorrow, Monday, under 68.60. I like it short. Stop over 70.22. Okay, and INCY has room to, it's very clear, to 66.50. So it has about $2.50 on the INCY. NUWE is a base breakdown. So just under the base, looks good, looks decent. Under the base, stop above it. Okay, and it's at all-time low, so no target, no predetermined target. The ONEM is a 1, 2, 3. We like the second bar, so the bar 1, bar 2, we like that second bar to stay within the bottom range of the first bar's range. It isn't, but it still looks lower. It's a base breakdown on the daily chart also. Looks lower to $15. I mean, really looks lower to $15. Reminds me of the STNE, which is an open play in the newsletter. A similar concept, was a breakdown right here. It's in the money and looks lower still, by the way. So this kind of reminds me of it, looks lower. REE is another position that's open in the newsletter, short under the base, stop above it, okay, as an add and reduce. This was taken as a sell setup right here. So this was the day that I got in it, that it triggered for the newsletter under 596, okay? The red day, the red bar, it dropped, it's been going sideways for a while, and now it looks like it's gonna continue again. So I like a short under 523, stop over 587. RXT is a sell setup. Moving average is pointing up. As I said, we like them to flatten out, but it may do so by Tuesday or Wednesday. I like a short under 1389, stop over 1437. I'm not sure where the target is, just new lows. You know, target 1 the prior low, and then target 2 would be manage it to new all-time low. SONM would be a base breakdown. Had a reverse split and it gapped down, so it was a penny stock I think before that. So short under the base and a stop above it. So short right here, stop right here. The plays that I'm gonna do long already, that are posted in the newsletter, I already have orders for. But on Friday or on the weekend, TradeStation does not allow you to short anything. Even stocks that are 100% available, like Apple, Microsoft, Google, you can't short them. So you have to wait until Monday morning before the market opens before they update their short watch list, their ETB, easy to borrow list. So I don't have orders in the system for these, but I know which ones I'm going to play, and you know they've been posted in the newsletter. The point is, I don't know if the SONM is going to be available. I sure hope it is. So short under the base, stop above. What I like about TradeStation, which is where I do my swing trades, the majority of them, is that they have a short locate and it's free. So you know, so that's what I like about it, is that you can locate almost just about any stock out there, and you can locate them for free. UPST is climactic. Reported earnings on this day, and it gapped up. Take a look at it. Was it like around not even 140, 135? Gapped up, and it's just, I mean, how much? It's at 327 right now. I mean, amazing. Way more than doubled, right? Way more than doubled. But is it a little bit climactic? I think so. Do I absolutely love it? No, because it's not. It didn't print any wide range bars. It didn't go vertical, but possible pullback coming if it were to break under 323.50. Okay. So possible pullback to the 20 on the daily. Initial target I would say would be about $300, maybe 288, and then target to that rising 20 on the daily chart. Okay, so that's the UPST. What an amazing move the last couple months. Take a look. I'm switching to the weekly chart, but it's not switching, so I have to do it manually. Wow, what an amazing move. So this may be topping out for a little bit if again it breaks under Friday's low. All right, I had a slow pace to today's video. I don't know why. It was a little slower than usual, but I went over some concepts in detail. So I hope you found benefit, and if you did, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. That helps support our channel on social media, the T3 Live channel on Facebook, on YouTube. So I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. if you have any questions for me or any of us at T3 Live, please send us an email at info@t3live.com. Again, info@t3live.com. If you'd like to check me out, check out my day trading room, the swing trading newsletter, links in the description. But with that said, again, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Ciao.